Well, number one, peace and blessings, everybody. And my losses honestly started when I was 3 years old, when I lost my innocence. I was exposed to sexual things at 3. And that kind of started the trajectory of my life. And even if we come recently, I lost a total of 27 people in the last 2.5 years. And these are people that I've had relationships with for a very long time, from my childhood best friend to both of my great grandmothers within months of each other, to my aunt who passed away out of nowhere. One day we were getting ready for Thanksgiving, and the next day we was burying her before Christmas. And just sometimes just the loss of identity, man. Like I've had many losses. But I would say for me, my biggest trauma, I would say, has been trying to navigate through life after you can't call a person, trying to navigate through life after you've planned in your mind that you're going to be able to see someone again. For me, that has been the hardest, because I feel like that God allowed me to get through so many other losses in my life, to share my life with others. And then when those people are no longer here for me to share my life with, it has been very bananas. So I try my best to show up for people, the best that I can, give people flowers when I can, because I do understand that trauma happens when something comes out of the norm, and loss for people, as much as we hear about it all the time, that's never normal. So whether you are someone watching this because you lost a person, you lost a job, you lost a piece of yourself, you lost your innocence, heck, you even lost some of your other things, that is something that I have kind of gone through.
Queen Green, how do we help people through loss?
Well, number one, we have to normalize what loss is, and not it be a specific thing. I tell people, anytime something existed and then it no longer exists, you go through the stages of grief. And it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a job. It can be you transition and you moved homes. It can be something as small as that, or you change your diet. Like, it's being able to understand, if I once had something and I now don't have access to that thing, I'm going to walk through the stages of grief. So we can normalize that everything is not depression, everything is not anxiety. Sometimes I'm grieving something, then that will really help people kind of get through. And then understanding that grief is not a stepped system. You don't go from one step to the next. It literally is something that is kind of like a continuum that you can yo-yo through. So you may get to a point where you're in denial, then you'll go into anger, then you go into bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But even in those spaces, you can have a day where you are full in acceptance, and then there's a trigger that comes on, whether it's a song, whether you drove past a location, or whether you had a conversation with someone. You don't just stop the grieving process or journey. You just learn how to better live with that pain. You just learn how to better endure it. So I think if we can just normalize people's experiences, that will be helpful. And then people sharing their stories. That's why support groups are so powerful. Because if I can begin to allow for you to understand that you're not the only one that is going through this level of pain. I can't feel exactly what you feel, but I can kind of say like, hey, I kind of have some of the similar emotions for myself. That gives people an opportunity to share their experiences and share how things are impacting them. Then, of course, therapy. I got to tell y'all, therapy is very, very healing. Even myself, I'm a therapist, but I go to therapy every Friday to meet with my therapist to kind of process how I am doing with experiencing so many losses, and how can I push through, and having someone that can be outside of myself that can normalize the pain that I'm experiencing, and saying, hey, Malara, it's okay to cry. Like you can help everybody else, but you need a space for someone to come and help you. And I think that is also helpful when it comes to just loss and dealing with it.